Hey guys, what up? Today I want to talk about what I learned in the music industry from 10 years as a musician. I've done a lot in the music industry, everything from being under major labels to touring around the country, doing a lot of shows, working on collaborations, and I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the process and what I learned in that time. So let's talk about it. Basically, the first thing I want to get into when it comes to the music industry is that a lot of people underestimate how much hard work it takes to really see your song be successful and see your music be successful as an artist. And so one of the things that I learned in music is that everything takes so much hard work. You know, a lot of times you might just get a TikTok to go viral, or you might have a song that blows up on its own organically, but that's just the beginning of a long journey when you're in music. So one thing that I learned is everything takes hard work, and I see a lot of upcoming artists when they're getting started, they sort of underestimate the amount of work that it actually takes to take something from one song or one record and turn that into a career. So no matter what you're doing in music, whether your goal is to put out records and have that hit song, or whether your goal is to do local shows and tour, you have to remember that it's going to take a lot of hard work, and don't underestimate. It's going to be years of grinding. It's going to be years of working to make that reality come true. So as a musician, you have to be prepared to grind, and you have to be prepared to put in that hard work. So the other thing that I need to tell all artists, and something that you need to know if you're a musician or if you're getting into music or if you're trying to grow your career, you need to know that it is very hard to make money in music. So there's a lot of different paths to do this, right? But what I've found is that whether you're working with record labels, whether you're working independently and putting your music out on your own, or whether you're trying to do the local scene and local tour grind, you have to understand that music is not an easy way to make money. There's some people that get into music because they hope that's going to be this easy way to make money, or this easy way to, stack up bread and really just break out of the situation that they're in. But I want you to know that music is one of the most difficult ways to make money. And it's something that I've dealt with over the years, is deciding, do I want to continue down this path of putting all my energy into monetizing my music, or are there other things that I want to do with my life? So what I've realized is that music is not an easy way to make money. I mean, it is one of the most difficult ways to make money, and it is going to require money up front to make money. And like I said before, you might get lucky with a viral TikTok, or you might have a song that just absolutely blows up. But let me tell you, even if you are in a situation where you're getting some money early, it's hard to keep that up sustainably. And I've always found that music is a very difficult way to make money. So you have to be in it for the passion, right? You can't just be in it because you think it's going to be an easy way to make money. I guarantee you it's going to be one of the hardest ways to make money, and you have to be prepared for that. And bringing us into the next part, which is that in the music industry, it takes money to make money. And like I said, there are those cases where you get an organically viral song that blows up and it makes you some money. And what I see time and time again is that artists that get in that situation, you're going to be spending that money you made trying to get your next hit, because it takes money to make money in music. That's been one of the most important things that I've learned through my years in the music industry. That's what record labels do. Essentially, the goal of a record label is to put up the money so that the artist can then take that money and use it to make more money and make more album sales. So that's what an advance is from a record label. They're giving you money that you actually have to pay back. So whether you're working as an artist, whether you're working as a manager, no matter what position you're in, it's a business at the end of the day, and it's going to take money to make money. And when it comes to the bottom line, you're going to have to profit more than you put in to have a successful music career. And that's one of the hardest things to do, really, in all of music and in all of business. You need to figure out how to take $1 and turn it into $2. And I'm telling you, music is one of the hardest ways to do that. Now, it can be very fun and be very rewarding to be a musician, but I'm telling you right now, it's tough to make money, and it takes money to make money in music as well. So here's another fact that you have to deal with as an artist. A huge part of the music industry and of your music becoming successful is luck. Okay? And that's an unfortunate fact that you have to come to grips with. You have to come with the reality of, no matter how good a song is, Even if you think it's the greatest song ever, even if everyone you show, your grandma and your cousin, they think it's the greatest song ever, there's going to be such a big element of luck to that song blowing up, right? So you can put out the greatest song ever. You might post it on your TikTok. It might get no views, right? But you see someone else who's just posted a silly little viral clip of a song that doesn't even match up to your quality, and you see it's absolutely blowing up. So there's this huge element that is of luck. And there's nothing you can do about that when it comes to the music industry. So you're just going to have to realize that a lot of it is about repetitions. A lot of it is about keeping your quality high, but also putting out a lot of different content and having that quantity to where the algorithm can work for you and you can have a chance to get lucky. So just don't forget that sometimes your best song ever isn't going to be the one that blows up, because there's such an element of luck to it. So just realize that you need to just keep going and continue if you want to be successful, because there is that element of luck and you just can't escape it. A huge part of music is going to be luck, and that's true in any type of business, but especially in the music industry where things move quickly and nothing is promised and things are changing every day. So a huge part of that success is going to be luck. So here's another thing that you have to deal with, and this kind of goes back to it takes money to make money. Let me be honest with you, it is very easy to lose money investing in your music. And I know that's something artists don't want to hear. As a creative, as an artist, a lot of time you're struggling with money. A lot of times you don't have the money to invest in this, and you're investing the very little money that you do have in trying to make your music successful. And so I'm going to tell you right now, come to reality with the fact that it is very easy to lose money. I'm someone who's spent thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in my own music, and in many ways I lost most of that. And so I've built a great community, a great platform, sure, but you have to understand that the bottom line is the bottom line. And I've invested so much in my career, and I haven't necessarily seen returns on all those investments. I've seen returns in other ways, but did every dollar that I spent bring me $2 back? Absolutely not. So a lot of money that I've invested personally in my career, everything from music videos to touring to traveling to making my music to my studio, everything that I have, it hasn't necessarily paid for itself. So you got to understand that when you're investing in your music, don't expect that it's going to be easy to make money. Expect that you're going to spend money on your music. I'm telling you, you will end up happier if you're just ready to lose money, expecting that you're going to lose money when you're investing in your music. That's just the reality of the situation. So if you want to be an artist, you should really think about having another income source, and you should really think about spending the money that you can afford to lose, the money that you're comfortable spending on your music. Perhaps it's more than a hobby. It's more like a small business to you that you're trying to start. That's a great way to think of it. But just realize that you're going to spend money, and you might spend a lot of money, and you might never see that money back. So that's just the reality of being a musician, especially if you want to go the independent route, right? And that's what I recommend you do. So we can get more into record labels and advances and the risks that come along with that later and in other videos. But I'm telling you right now, expect that you're going to have to invest money into your music career, and you're not going to see a lot of that money back. And even if you do see it back, it's probably going to be years down the line. It's probably not going to be anytime soon. So really, you have to expect that the money you're spending in your music career is likely to be gone. So spend what you can afford and find other ways to make money. That's the best advice that I can give any artist. Have another source of income. Have a way to spend so that you're able to do what you want to do in music or in your career and make something of that. So let's jump into the record label topic a little bit right here. I think it's a great time. And what I want to tell you is that you don't want a record deal. Now, I think this is a lot more known in the scene than it was when I was first coming up, even when the internet started. Things like SoundCloud and Spotify were new. A lot of people understand now the benefit of being an independent artist, but a lot of people don't. I see a lot of artists, rappers, singers who are really hoping for this big record deal. They're hoping a big record label is going to come in and save them and give them everything they need and resources and just turn them into a star. And I hate to break the bubble right now. I hate to just pull down the curtains and say, look, if you're an artist and you're serious about your craft, no one's coming to save you. There's no record label that's going to swoop in and turn you into a star. Record labels are notoriously lazy. They are notoriously predatory, and what that means is they're going to come in, they're going to give you the worst deal they think you'll accept. All right, listen to what I just said. They're going to give you the worst deal that they think you will accept, and hopefully you'll accept that deal. And then they're going to make you worry about how to get out of that situation, right? And so a lot of times what that means is they might give you some money up front. They might flash some big money in your face. If you're a smaller artist, it might be 20,000, 30,000, 50, 100. You know, even for bigger artists, they get in these similar situations. Even if that number is $1 million or more, the same kind of thing can happen with these bigger artists. But the label is going to give you money, and they're going to expect you to figure out how to take advantage of that money and bring them back more dollars than they gave you. And that's when it advances, right? So labels are really just there to be the piggy bank for the artist, to give you money, give you funding, give you an advance, and you're going to have to pay that advance back. And I'll tell you what, these labels are not going to set you up with some kind of direct plan or some kind of amazing team that's going to make sure that you recoup your advance and you pay them back immediately. It's not like that at all. In my experience, it's way more of a free-for-all. These labels are going to give you money. They're going to hope that you have the team and people in place. They might give you some guidance and connections here and there, but you're pretty much on your own. You have to build your own team. You have to find ways to monetize your music. Really, all they're going to do is give you money, help you with distribution, and if you're lucky, they're going to set up a few collabs and a few different connections that you can then go ahead and leverage into something more. But again, it's going to be on you as the artist. I think the most important thing with working with labels is to realize you are the artist. It's your job to get what you want from the label, and it's your job to tell the label what you need, and it's your job as the artist to make sure you're successful. So don't think that a label is going to come in and then it's going to be their job to make you successful. A label is just there to support you, and as the artist, it's going to be your job to make yourself successful. And that's something that I really had to learn the hard way, because I came in with this dream and with this big idea. And, you know, the music industry is very mysterious, and that's done on purpose. They don't want new artists to know everything about the music industry. They want new artists to have this mysterious vision, this idea that a label is going to turn them into something great, because that's how you get artists to accept those deals that aren't great for them, but they might be great for the label, right? So ideally, the label wants to make as much money as possible on the artist, and it's the artist's job to make sure that they are able to build their business and build their career. So the one recommendation I can give you, if you're an artist and you're going towards the record deal route and you're going towards the label route, is that you need to be the boss. You need to be in charge. You need to take control of the situation and make sure you're getting what you need from the label. Don't expect them to come along with some kind of secret formula or come along with the recipe that's going to turn you into a star. If you expect that, you're going to get disappointed, and you probably won't get as much out of the label as you can. So if I could do things differently, I would go back and I would be a lot more assertive. I would be a lot more leveraging the connection with the label and doing my best to push things forward. And I think I already did that to some extent, but if I could go back, I'd do it even better. I'd make sure that I was using every single resource that the label had available to me, and I'd make sure that I was on people's ass about doing work for me, getting things done, and making things happen the way I wanted. So I would say I was distracted with touring, doing shows, making music, and I wasn't so much on the label about pushing things forward with the label. I was kind of in this position where I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do my tours. I'm going to focus on my own music. Whereas I should have been leveraging that connection with the label more and really pushing things forward. So the end game to that is to really tell you, maybe you don't want a record deal. Maybe you want to stay as an independent artist, keep your masters, monetize your own music, put it out through the internet, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, all these different things that people are doing now. Short form video has absolutely changed the game, and you probably don't need a record label anymore. There's so many different ways to go monetize your music, and nowadays there's ways to promote your music for free. So ultimately, I think you don't need a label. You should really be looking to go down the independent artist path. And that's something I can talk about a lot more in other videos, but I really do think this is the age where you don't want a label, you don't need a record deal. Focus on building yourself, focus on getting that other income source like I talked about. And you know, that's another thing that I could really dive into a lot. I'll probably save more of it for another video, but get a different income source and be your own label. Fund yourself. Get a job that you can tolerate, even if it's not your dream job, even if it's not the best pay ever. Get a job that you can tolerate so that you can invest in your music. Don't do what I did, which is spend all your time and energy trying to be full-time music, trying to be full-time crypto, trying to be this entrepreneur. Because ultimately what I learned is I spent so much money that I could have saved up if I just had any tolerable job. And so now I have a job, I have a salary, and I'm a lot more happier like this, to where I have a job and a salary that I can make money off of, and I can still invest into my music and do the things I want to do. So if you're an artist and you're considering getting a record deal and you want to be a full-time musician, my best advice for you, keep your job. If you don't have a job, get a job. Stop thinking that a label is going to come along and save you, and start thinking about how you can make money yourself to fund your own music career and fund your own label or fund your own independent work. And that's going to be a better path for your career and for your business. Because working with labels, there's just such a low chance that they're actually going to help you be successful. And it's disappointing, right? You'd hope that labels do the best for every artist that comes their way. But the truth of the matter is, most artists that I've talked to, that I've met, most experiences that I've heard of with labels have been overwhelmingly negative. You know, a lot of artists do take that deal and they end up regretting it later. And there's a small percentage of artists that take the deal and it goes great and they end up as the superstars. So stop thinking that a label is going to make you into a superstar, because most of the time that's not what happens. It's a very rare case where an artist just gets this amazing record deal and turns into a superstar. And let's be real, that artist that does turn into a superstar, they probably already had superstar quality music on their own. They were probably already making waves on their own, and the label just poured some fuel on the fire and amplified what they were already doing. That's usually what happens. It's not this thing where a label is going to come in and absolutely save you. So the last thing I'll talk about here, the last couple things that I'll talk about, next up, I want to talk about that selling stuff to musicians is really hard. So another thing that I've spent time doing is trying to sell stuff to musicians. In building my music career, I help musicians with technology. I tried helping musicians with management, with promotion, marketing. And the truth of the matter is, musicians are just not the best clientele to sell to. A lot of them don't have a lot of money. And so when you're looking for business ventures or ways to monetize your music and different things to do, I think you should reconsider before selling stuff to musicians. Musicians typically don't have a lot of money, and I know as a musician or as an artist, you might think, hey, I want to do, production, I want to use my skills, I want to do marketing for musicians, I have all these ideas for musicians. I'm telling you right now, musicians typically don't have a lot of money. So if your goal is to have a successful career, I think you should find someone else to sell stuff to, not musicians. Do something else, right? I do real estate now. I do crypto. These are different categories to where I'm selling stuff to people that are not musicians. I've tried a lot of businesses where I'm selling to musicians. I've had success with several of them. I've had success in NFTs. I've done marketing campaigns for artists. But overall, it is a difficult way to make money because you're selling to clientele who don't have money. So if you're going to sell something, it's best to sell to people who have money, and typically musicians and artists, especially upcoming ones, are not the right category. So I'm going to recommend now that before you go down the rabbit hole of trying to sell stuff to artists, you think about, is there something else I could do or sell to people that have money? And that's some real advice right there. So we're coming to the end of the video. And here's a pretty controversial topic I want to put out there. I don't want to offend any musicians. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm sure your music is great, and I'm sure you have a great fan base who really loves what you're doing, and that's awesome. But I'll say it right now, blunt and straightforward. Nobody needs your music. And this was hard for me to realize, to really come to terms with the fact that nobody needs my music. There is so much incredible music out there, and people are always going to like what's popular and what's trending. And at the end of the day, the truest thing is that nobody truly needs my music. And so what's the answer for that? How do we get past that? How do we continue making music when you realize that, the world will just be fine without my music? And I think what it comes down to as an artist, you have to have that drive inside you, that ability to say, maybe no one needs my music, but I need to make them want it. So I'll leave you with this. Give your audience a reason to want your music. You have to have that passion behind it. you have to have a story behind it. You have to have a reason you're doing what you do, and you have to have a certain energy that you give with your music, and you have to make people want it, right? So there's so many ways to do that. Maybe you're going to be mysterious. Maybe you're going to do a great marketing campaign. Maybe you're going to do great live events and bring people out. But whatever the method is, you have to make people want your music, because what I've realized in all these years is that nobody really needs your music, okay? Your music might be great. It might make people happy, but at the end of the day, most people don't need their music. They're not even thinking about you unless your song is on or unless you're in front of their face. So you're going to have to make people want your music. And don't get discouraged by that, but just remember that nobody owes it to you to listen to your music. You know, nobody is obligated to care. You know, you might have a best friend who doesn't listen to any of your songs, but that doesn't make them any less of a good friend to you if there's other ways that they support you or they're a great friend. So don't think anyone's obligated to listen to your music. The truth of the matter is, nobody needs your music. And I'm saying this as a musician who's got over 100 songs, who's had a big hit, who's been in the industry for years. I've done hundreds of shows. And I've just kind of come to this realization and reality that despite all of that, nobody needs my music. And once I realize that, I can get on to the next point, which is, you know, we need to make them want it. So as an artist, your job is to make people want and need your music. And at the end of the day, you just have to deal with the harsh reality that nobody truly needs your music. There's so much great music out there. There's undiscovered talent. There's great hit songs. And if you can realize that and get past that mental block and say, well, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it because I have passion for this. And I'm doing it because I can make people want it. And I have something inside me that I want to share and I want to show others. That's what it's about. So that's what being a musician is about. And I think if you can come to that reality and deal with some of these hard truths, you're going to be better off as an artist. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope there was something you could take away from it. I want to go into a lot of these other topics, specifically more about what it's like being a musician, or more about why you should want different forms of income, or more about going the independent artist route. So I'd love to hear what it is you guys want me to talk about. I have a lot of different video topics planned, and I'm excited to do more videos and talk about what y'all want to hear about. So drop a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment and let me know what you want to see in future videos. What do you want me to talk about, and which topics do you want to hear more about? Hope to see you around. Peace.